First we'll start with acyl halides. What we want to do with an acyl halide is do just like we do with carboxylic acids and number the carbon chain away. And so what this is going to be is, this is going to have on the 2 position an alkene, so it's going to be, and since it's a 3 carbon unit, it's going to be ethenoyl chloride. So oil is the important term there. If we just had, if this wasn't here, I'm sorry, this is propanoyl chloride. Propenoyl chloride. If we didn't have the alkene, that would be propanoyl chloride. So 3 carbons, propenoyl chloride. Now, if we move on over here to acid anhydrides are named if they're the same on either side. So if we erase that carbon, this would be acetic anhydride because it has an acetyl group here and acetyl group here. Carbonyl with 1 carbon attached to it is an acetyl group. But if we add this over here, now it becomes different, and now we have to name it each side individually. So this is going to be acetic, and then 1, 2, 3. So propanoic anhydride. Acetic propanoic anhydride. So I don't think that's right. I'm sorry. Ethanoic propan. Oh, it is right. Yeah, sorry, that was right. I needed to look at this other one anyway because I forgot. Acetamide. Oh no, that's the one I was going to look at. 2-hydroxy. Ethanoate. Sorry, that is right. Acetic propanoic anhydride. Next we'll move to this ester. An ester is a carbonyl with an oxygen attached directly off of the carbonyl carbon, but then the oxygen is tied into a carbon chain. So this compound, what we want to do is name one side and then the other. So this side is going to have on the 2 position a hydroxy. Oxygen that's a substituent is called hydroxy group. And so what we're going to call this is so we started with this. This is going to be the parent chain because it's longer, and so it's going to be ethanoate, and then this side of the ether is actually going to be called just by this carbon. We kind of ignore the carbonyl carbon in naming esters, which is interesting and different. And so it's going to be called methyl 2-hydroxyethanoate. So on the ether, or on the ester, we start with the least substituted, or the shortest side, name that, and then go on to the longest side, name the longer part. That's how we name esters. Don't get the ethanoate confused with this propanoate up here, which is the deprotonated form of the carboxylic acid. Next we'll name amides. Amides are carbonyls that are attached to nitrogens. And so this one is just a 1, 2, 3 carbon, and so this is going to be called propanamide. If we add carbon chains, substituents, off of the nitrogen, then this becomes some kind of substituted propanamide. And so now this is going to be called, this compound down here would be NN. These N's represent the fact that there are groups coming off of the N position, and there are 2. And then we call this diethyl propanamide. I'm going to erase this business, and I'm going to name that and this. So now I've got two compounds here that are esters, and they're different. They look very similar, but they're different. And I'm going to show you how they are named differently. Try to name these right now. Stop the video, try to name them, and then see if you can name them correctly, and then I'll show you the right way. So what we want to do here is name this one first. It's got 2 carbons on this side and 2 carbons on this side. What we want to do is name the side on the carbon chain that is on the other side of the oxygen part of the ester before we name this other side that's attached to the carbonyl directly. So this is going to be 2-hydroxy, because alcohols are named hydroxy groups if they're substituents. 2-hydroxy, and then this is an ethyl. Now we're going to go to the other side to finish it off, and since it's a 2-carbon chain coming off of the carbonyl carbon directly, we're going to call it ethanoate. Ethanoate, yeah. Don't get this ethanoate or O8 confused with the O8 used up here with carboxylic acid, deprotonated carboxylic acids. So here's 2-hydroxyethyl ethanoate, this molecule. Now let's name this molecule down here where I've switched the 2-hydroxy part onto the other side adjacent to the carbonyl. Now what we want to do is do the same technique again. This time we're going to, just like before, we're going to go to the other side of the oxygen, and we're going to name that first. So we're going to say ethyl. Then take the other side, and this time it's going to be a 3-hydroxy propanoate. So you can see how these two compounds are different, yet are very similar actually, yet they're named a lot differently.